If you're positive, you better bless this space. If you are negative, you better get up on my face. If you are positive, you better bless this space. If you are negative, you better get up on my face. If you are positive, you better bless our space. If you are negative, you better get up on our faces.
Period.
Welcome if you're new, and welcome back to Witches and Weebs, where otaku and witchcraft come together to create a harmonious community of witches and weebs. We dive into all things physical, magical, witchy, and weeby, and thank you for joining us on our journey for betterment and fun. And this is our episode about the Spring Equinox. Initially, we were going to call this Ostara, but in our research, we found that we didn't really align with Ostara very much because there's no historical evidence of it. Neither the god, nor the holiday itself. It is not ancient tradition at all, which it paints itself as. So we set out originally to explore the history of Ostara and the Spring Equinox, only to uncover that Ostara, obviously, as many know it, is more of a Brothers Grimm invention than an ancient tradition.
I wouldn't have a problem with it. See, okay, I'm just gonna preface this. I don't have a problem with what Ostara represents as the spring equinox for witches at all. I just don't like how it paints itself to be an ancient tradition lost in history when it's actually not. So just disclaimer there. We don't mind anyone who celebrates Ostara at all, because if you're a Wiccan, neo-pagan, that's fine.
It's neo-pagan, it's 100% valid. There ain't no problem with it at all. I just don't like it parading as an ancient tradition when it is not. Because all of the references to Ostara reference it as some ancient Germanic tradition when there's no actually evidence of that. So if you accept it as a neo-pagan tradition, absolutely, go ahead. More power to you. And I actually learned something about painting eggs that makes total sense. So we'll talk about that later. So instead, we're going to talk about the rich and vibrant traditions that truly honor the arrival of spring, such as Holly, Lunar New Year, and more. We'll explore themes of rebirth, renewal, and growth that show across cultures, and how you could bring that energy into your own spiritual practice. So the first thing is we're going to talk about Ostara. To me, Ostara is now real, but she is not an ancient goddess. She is a neo-pagan goddess, because as a chaos witch, I believe that people give energy to things. So by celebrating Ostara, you guys have basically made her a minor deity. Congratulations. So a goddess of spring is celebrated with images of painted eggs, rabbits, flowers, and she dances. She would chase away the winter and bring renewal to the earth as spring. The legend of the Easter hare, see, this is where you get crossover, tells of a bunny that would give colored eggs and candy to good children, much like Santa Claus. People gather at dawn on the first day of spring for ritual cleansing and healing at rivers and streams. This is traditionally celebrated by Wicca and neo-pagan practitioners, and that is Ostara.
Which, not a terrible celebration. I think it would be very fun if I were, Wiccan or neo-pagan, but I'm not. So I wouldn't necessarily celebrate it, but it does sound fun for people who do celebrate that.
Absolutely. Like, it's a completely valid tradition. It's just not for us. Not all of these take place at the spring equinox, but they are all in celebration of the spring, because I'm going to talk about what is Lunar New Year, which is celebrated in Buddhist cultures, China, South Asia, and Tao. It's Spring Festival or Lunar New Year. Takes place in January to February, depending on the year. It changes. Spring Festival celebrates the beginning of a new year and the start of the spring. In the Chinese zodiac, 12 animals take turns being in charge of a year cycle. They gather and watch dancers in elaborate costumes to perform lion dances and dragon dances. People also wear and decorate with red fashion for the new year. I mean, that makes sense. Eat fish and give money as gifts, all to ensure good luck and happiness in the new year. And that is the Chinese, which is not really Chinese, it's a bunch of different things. It's Holi, which is celebrated by Hindu religions. Sikh, don't ask me if that's how it's actually pronounced, because I've heard it several different ways. In India, Nepal, and the Caribbean, actually, which I didn't know. That's crazy. Takes place in February, March. Holi celebrates the victory of the protector god Vishnu over the demon king Hiranyakashipu.
Okay.
That is a name. That is a name for a demon. I would also want to beat his ass if he made me say that. Holi celebrates the victory of the protector god Vishnu over the demon king Hiranyakashipu. I'm probably butchering this, and I'm so sorry. At the beginning of spring, people gather in public squares and have color wars with bright powder made from dried flower petals. Oh my god, that sounds so fun.
I know, right?
People also have bonfires in temples and pray that good will triumph over evil. Holi is a time to spend with family, mend relationships, and forgive each other, which makes sense to the cycle of rebirth. Even mending relationship is a rebirth for that relationship. I also would love to go to Holi. I'm not gonna lie.
Me too. Like a color wars. It's like paintball, but without the pain and the paint. It's just powder.
Oh my god.
Powdered crushed flour.
Dude, those oh my god, they hurt so bad. I would never do paintball because I got hit with one and I'm never,
I would just keel over and die.
This fucking big. So this sounds like fun because I want to be covered in paint but not feel all the pain.
Right.
The next one we have is Carnival, which is actually celebrated by Catholics in Latin America and various other places. Largely celebrated, as well as I know, in Trinidad and Tobago. Also known as Mardi Gras, but Carnival is a big celebration before the season of Lent. People gather to watch dancers in feather costumes and colorful floats and huge parades. Carnival means remove meat, and many people do not eat meat or other fatty foods during Lent. The money they normally would spend on these foods instead is given to charities and worthy causes as personal sacrifice. So I would also love to go to Carnival.
Yeah, so Carnival is the celebration leading up to Mardi Gras, and the last day of Carnival is the start of Mardi Gras.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not necessarily Mardi Gras, but it's like they're basically side by side.
It's like pre-Mardi Gras. It's like, yeah, Carnival and then Mardi Gras.
Carnival is celebrated February to March. This is the beginning of Lent season. This is where all the celebrations end up. Ramadan, of course, which is Muslim, celebrated March to April. Ramadan is a time of spiritual reflection through fasting, kindness, and charity in Islam. Most people will only eat a small breakfast at sunrise, or shahur. Forgive me if I'm butchering these. English is my only language so far, and I'm still very early in my Spanish studies. And a small dinner after sunset, iftar, and no other food or drink during the day. Ramadan begins at Hali, the first crescent moon of the holy month, and ends at the next crescent moon in Idi. I know these are so wrong. I'm gonna be so embarrassed. People give the money they would normally spend on meals during the day to charities and good causes, as well as small gifts for friends and family. They also strive to read the entire Quran before the holiday is over. I believe they avoid they also avoid like anything that is considered sacrilegious, but it's on them to avoid it. You don't have to make an effort to like adjust your life if you don't celebrate it. Like there's a whole movement on Tumblr where people say this blog is not safe for Ramadan, and everyone's like, Muslims are like, you don't have to do that. It's on us to avoid it.
Right.
Nowruz, which is celebrated in Muslim, Middle East, Central, and South Asia. New Day celebrates and this happens in March. This is around the Spring Equinox specifically. New Day celebrates the Spring Equinox with bonfires, making a lot of noise, and eating sweets, nuts, and berries. Families clean the house, have picnics, and children play jokes and pranks on each other. The number 7 and the letter S are important symbols, Hafsin, relating to the forms of life and energy, as well as the different kinds of foods eaten during the holiday. I saw videos of the dancing for this, and it's very interesting, and I like it a lot. And and a lot of the ladies have like super long braids, and I'm jealous. I want super long hair, but do not want to take care of it. So I'm just looking at them from afar. And next is, of course, Easter, Holy Week. Christian Catholic worldwide at February to March, depending on the year. Again, Depends. Holy Week celebrates the Passion of the Christ on the cross, and Easter celebrates him rising from the dead. Many people observe the Stations of the Cross, don't eat meat, and have egg hunts with children. During Lent, people will give up something they like, say prayers, and read scriptures daily. Lent begins on Ash Wednesday and ends on Easter Sunday, a 40-day period that symbolizes Jesus' fasting and temptation from Satan in the desert. Holy Week is the last week of Lent and focuses on the crucifixion as resurrection. I'll talk about eggs later in possible celebrations for the spring equinox because I learned what the eggs mean and what, of course, applying that to color magic, it actually makes completely fucking sense and I find it very interesting. Excuse me. The next one is Pesach, if I'm saying that properly.
Pesach.
Jewish. Worldwide. I believe this is also known as Passover, but I could be wrong. This somber family gathering celebrates the miracle of Passover, when enslaved Hebrew people were spared from the plague of the death of the firstborn in ancient Egypt. They welcomed the prophet Elijah to their Seder meal, in which they eat their specific foods and herbs to remind them of their time as slaves and then free people. They read scripture from the Haggadah to teach the children about the high holiday. Some people eat lamb or goat and drink wine with the Seder meal. So,
sure.
I believe that is also Passover. It sounds very much like Passover. And I apologize for any of these names I'm butchering, because these next three are going to be kicking my butt. Dubar. This is Muslim, but specifically West African, Nigeria, and Algeria. Is celebrated March to April. Durbar is the part of the Iyalada Feast of Sacrifice celebration and honors the culture of horses in travel and warfare. Chiefs and warriors dress in traditional robes and ride horses, who also get done up in all kind of cool stuff. I'm watching new camera. They get like to dress up. They get like fancy head pieces. They get fancy saddles. It's very cool.
That does sound very cool.
They ride horses through the streets in parades. Extended family and tribes gather and feast, watch horse races and parades, and dance to drums, probably alongside fire. Tet is Hindu, Buddhist, Vietnam, and Southeast Asia, celebrated January to February. On Tiet Wen Dan, festival of the first day, people honor their ancestors by cleaning their gravesites and paying respects to their elders. It also celebrates the kitchen god by making a traditional food called bang chan, sticky rice cake, mung beads, and pork wrapped in banana leaves. Children receive money in red envelopes and are allowed to play dice and gambling games. And the last celebration for the springtime or spring equinox is Kiem New Year or Angkor Wat Night Festival. This is Buddhist camp.
Angkor Wat. Okay, that's what that
Angkor
is.
Wat?
It's like Angkor Wat.
Angkor Wat.
Oh, it's a temple. Angkor Wat was a temple. I only know that because I fucking play Civ 5.
Oh, well, actually, I'm gonna mention that temple right now. Angkor Wat is the holiest temple in Cambodia, where the night festival is held, which celebrates the cycles of nature. A great feast is held to give thanks to Mother Earth after the harvest. There are spectacular performances, live dances, and beautiful fairy dancers. They have a proper name for it, but I'm not going to try it. Ostara. People pray to Buddha, give to the poor, and honor their elders. People also play games like tug of war, sack races, and giant chess. I want to play giant chess.
I don't know how to play chess, but I've played giant chess.
I just want the experience of being on a giant. I just drooled on myself.
Wow, you really want to play giant chess?
I want to play giant chess for the experience of playing giant chess. I don't know how to play chess. Never played chess a day in my life.
Me neither.
Now, obviously these are cultural festivals and you should take what is a part of your culture. Like, I am able to do Christian traditions because that's how I was raised, but I'm also able to do any Caribbean tradition or Hispanic tradition because that is actually my ethnicity, even though that part of my culture has been lost to me because of reasons.
I was raised Muslim, so I have engaged in some of the Muslim Spring Equinox celebrations or festivals and whatnot. I was very young, so it had no semblance to me whatsoever. I didn't understand what the hell was happening. I'm just sitting here like, I'm 2. What the hell am I supposed to do?
But as a witch, you can take whatever your cultural celebration and make it magical. You can add color magic. You can add things like that to make it more magical. But also, we're going to lead into ways to celebrate the spring equinox as a witch. And no, this is not about copy and pasting Easter or celebrating Ostara. This is all about make a spring altar that is based on the cycles of rebirth, because that is what spring is.
Which we totally have an episode on, sacred spaces, altars, and we mention all of the equinoxes, all of the what the hell is the other one? Equinoxes and solstices, yes.
We do the seasons. We'll probably be more seasonal witches that do work with the seasons. So create adorn that altar with bright colors, plants, and herbs to promote healing, growth, rebirth, transformation. Place it where the sunshine is warm and where it's gonna get sunshine, to warm your hearts and minds after the dark months of winter. Planting seeds. Gardening isn't only a seasonal tradition, it's also a ritual to honor this astrological event, because this is when you start planting.
Yep.
Sing songs to your plants while you give them to the earth. Plant food and flowers to brighten up the land. Give back your energy. Go back to the earth, because then the earth will bless you. Waking up at sunrise. See the sunrise. I am also up at sunrise. It is pitch black in this house because it is 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm gonna give it to you. I'm a crackhead. I don't know what to tell you.
The sun is slowly rising over here.
Have a bonfire. Most of these traditions I found that actually have bonfires in them, and I find that very fascinating that it's all about fire. All over the world, cultures integrate fire into their celebrations. Go outside and have a fire safely if you can. If you cannot, there's a TV and you could slap up a fire video. It's not the same, but it works. It gives you the vibe, and that's all you really need. I actually learned that one from my book that I'm reading from the library about hearthcraft.
I never understood why some people just had fireplaces and bonfires on their TV. I'd walk in here and I'm like, is it warm in here? Is this supposed to make it warm in here?
No, it's all about setting the mood, really.
Yeah.
Setting the environment, giving that ambiance and that energy to it. Of course, spring fucking clean. We all know this one. Look forward to the yearly cleanse when others dread this time. Cleaning on this day will boost your... Of course, do it if you're witchy. Do it before the spring equinox. Be done by the 20th.
Right.
Depending on the year. I said 20th because that's what it is this year. Cleaning on this day can boost your energy, open the windows, play music while you get all that dust and stagnation out. This is the time to set new goals, new projects. The equinox is the time of balance because the earth is in balance and the days are equal. After this point, the sunshine gets longer.
More opportunities to go outside and soak up some sun, photosynthesize, put on sunscreen before you do.
Speaking of, the last way, I have more ways, but go outside. Celebrating nature means going outside, even if it's just going to a park. I know some of you live in the city, but there's parks.
There are.
And
parks.
I know some of you want to avoid the sun and never go outside ever, but that's not healthy for you. I'm very sorry.
9 out of 10 times you might have depression, and that's exactly why.
That's exactly why. Like, it's physically needed for us to get sunlight at least 10 minutes a day to feel good. Also, I have 33 ritual ideas that you could slap up. Of course, light a candle, energy, fire, plant seeds, decorate your home, hold a feast, fly kites, hang, there's these little strings called calates, I believe, and you're supposed to hang them. I don't exactly know what they are. Create a spring wreath and create it yourself. Even if you have to get the plastic little plants from Michael's, it's okay. I get it. Create a gratitude jar, make seed bombs, make sure it's native to your area. Research the plants in your area that are native, because the seed bomb is what you just throw out and let them grow. So make sure it's natural wild flowers and shit that you can grow in your area. Safe to grow in your area, because the grass that we all have in our yards, the reason we have to water it so much is because it's not native to our area. There's grass that is hardy and can be in here. So craft a sun catcher. A sun catcher is what it sounds like, a sun catcher, except it's made of crystals and shiny bits that make rainbows on the walls.
That catch the sun. Crazy.
That catch the sun. Crazy. Bake bread. Make an herbal infusion. Trying egg divination, because again, eggs mean rebirth. Set an intention. Perform a letting go ritual, because you're letting go of the dark, gloomy energy from winter. Letting go. Of course, also you could do a transformation ritual, transforming from winter to spring. Fasting. Try an herbal detox, make art, host a dance party, journal, take a ritual bath, forgive people, make a vision board, because it is about bringing you're growing your ideas, have a sound healing, and last but not least, I said I wasn't going to talk about this. I really did, but I want to talk about coloring eggs. Hear me out. It is not, yes, it's an Ostara tradition. Yes, it's pretending to be ancient from a lost tradition that doesn't actually exist. Yes, it's Easter. However, knowing what eggs are in spiritual, which is rebirth, and all of it's the cycle of life, representing your new year, and you use color magic to paint, like physically paint your eggs, not just dye them, not lame dye. We paint them. You could manifest your future year on an egg. Paint your eggs. Like physically paint your eggs. If you're artistic. If you're not creative, it's probably not for you. However, actually smart tradition. It makes total sense. I will 100% recommend you celebrate the spring with painting your eggs.
I'm going to boil my eggs before I paint them.
Wait, do people not do that? Yes. I thought everybody boiled their eggs.
You would think so, because it's the smartest thing to do. So, when you're painting, it doesn't fall out of your hand and shatter. But there are people who paint their eggs without actually boiling them.
Oh, I'm flabbergasted.
You should be.
Okay, well, I grew up with knowing that they were supposed to be fucking hard boiled. Boil your eggs if you're gonna paint them. But yes, I actually 100% recommend celebrating your spring equinox with painting eggs. I can't believe I'm saying that.
We're learning.
But it's also,
new things.
it's a really, I know that Chinese culture also does this, but it has a, where you have to like stand them up. And if they stand up, you get a prize. It's a children's game. I don't know. But they paint eggs. So it's actually it's all over. It's not just Easter. I find that very interesting.
That is very interesting.
But as you can see, this is all about, the spring equinox is all about growing things. You're going to start new plans, new ideas. This is why this is really the spiritual beginning of the new year. Of course, again, the easiest way to incorporate springtime is through kitchen witchery with fresh produce, herbs, enjoying what the spring is bringing in, because things outside of like the citrus family that comes in January and February, a lot of things are coming into season right now. It's time for lemons and oranges and all of those kind of things was in at least here in California, it's January and February. And my suggestion for this is picking a single herb to learn over 1 week during the build up to Spring Equinox starting in March, and spend a week learning its lore, its culinary, spiritual, and medicinal properties if it has it, its growing locations, its biome. It will help you get back into nature. And again, nature is incredibly important, even if you cannot get outside in the way that you want to. Learning about nature is the next best thing. And that is officially all I have for you today.
Now we can clap.
Now we can clap. You're right. What are we filming next? Energy sources, right?
Yes.
Because obviously using your own energy in spell work is not good. You need to borrow from other things. You need to make relationships with things around you, because if you use your energy constantly for your own spell work, you're going to drain yourself. You're going to tire yourself out. You're not going to have energy for other things. So making a relationship where some kind of other energy, even if it's the house spirit that's living in your house, they can help you and do your spell work as well and provide energy for your spell work so you're not draining yourself. And that's what we're going to talk about. I actually saw a video that somebody was talking about how using your own energy in spells consistently is akin to self-harm.
It is.
And I was like, damn, they're spitting. They're spitting.
It really is.
So that's the next episode for ya. Yay.
Yay.
As provided by Space. Yay.
As usually provided by Space. So yes, please make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, turn on the notification bell on so you know when we are uploading new videos. As usual, please practice wisely, practice safely, and may all of your positive affirmations and manifestations come to fruition. Let us know in the comments how you celebrate your spring equinox, because we like to see
which tradition you have. Is it one that I didn't bring up? If you want to yell at me for my pronunciation, please do. I totally understand. I don't know how to do it, but it's okay. I'm learning.
And that's the best thing that you could do, honestly. But yeah, tell us your practices. Tell us how you set up your altar. Tell us, if you integrate some practices from different cultures into yours, how you celebrate spring equinox, and what your favorite color is to paint your eggs, if you paint your eggs. I'm going to paint my eggs red because I like
I think I'm going to paint my eggs a mix of like purples, and because I'm going to do color magic on my egg because I want like spiritual awakenings and like all kind of stuff like that. Creativity, make things. So, I'm going to make Halloween eggs, purple and orange.
That does sound fun. Okay, we're going to see y'all next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Stay mystical.